Greetings, it is I, Susie K. We're working with automatic writing. And how we formulate this is something happened at some point. I don't recall what it was. And I don't even make notes of what happened or what was going on. But we say something happened. The next piece would be me retrieving my own Akashic records or my soul messages, my galactic messages, any of these other states of curiosity, and particularly regarding to my body messages. All of those things are supporting us. And then from that, from something happened to all of these different experiences, we move into automatic writing. So we've got one today, and I'm really happy to see if you like it. When we seek answers within, and bring in the highest light and love, we draw unto ourselves a more clear vision of what we desire. When we take this visualization into a perceived microscopic view, a primary formation of matter, we co-create a more exact match of our heart's intent. By bringing thoughts into more clear perspectives, and fully understanding that which we envision for our own selves, we create a mirror image of these thoughts. The simplicity of all of this is that it is inside of you now, desiring to take form. From the seat of love, the crystallized vision will come to be quite actually instantaneous. Consider you the architect. Give yourself plenty of time to discern how the structure will be built and what components are desired. Strength of physical structures ensures sustainability and a glistening treasury of your most magnificent vision. Here's the cool thing about all of this. It can happen in a rapid pace. Celebrate your vision and see it to come to be. It's closer than you realize. Awesome. It's fun when we start looking at that creative spirit. We're looking at things differently. We're kind of curious about what's next, what's coming up, and what's going to happen for me, and or what's going to happen with you. Like, what are you up to? What are you conspiring to create in your own field? What other things are you doing with, just realizing more about your body and how you can support your body more deeply? Or maybe looking at some of the relationships in your life and just like going, wow, it's been so spectacular. And then you could even start working with like, what is it about that manifestation or that abundance or that feeling of miracles in your field? How easy could that be? So some of these words and phrases that we use with the automatic written pieces are super fun. And I love being inspired by some of these words because oftentimes that's not how I really normally talk, but those written pieces were maybe kind of like from a different star system or from a different state of consciousness where I wasn't really completely awake to it, but then I rose to the piece and I wrote it, So I'm not sure how I did it or how or why or what was going on. So when you're looking at more of your creative pursuits, the things that you're really wishing to have in your field, just notice that sometimes when you're thinking about something that you really, really want to do and it's not happening, we kind of find sometimes too that when you're so excited and you're so ready to jump into a new field of consciousness, a new vortex, a new portal, whatever that is that you start noticing that all of a sudden it's kind of stagnant energy for a little bit. And then at a certain moment, you might rise up into a different state of being and realizing that everything that you're desiring in your field it's very precognitive. And so when you start looking at these states of consciousness, sometimes you're already in the space which is an open space for you to create and to manifest and easily. But sometimes we kind of like go forward a little bit and then we have to go backwards because it's not working. Well, that's that piece, that precognitive piece is always working to assist us to discern and learn a little bit more about exactly what is my true purpose. What is my true purpose? And so the true purpose could be anything. But for me, that might be my divine purpose as really about writing, and doing this Akashic records. And whatever you're creating, let's just say you've got stagnant energy and you know exactly what you want to do, but for some reason you're not really like, going in, you're not really diving into it yet. You're kind of like, you've got like all these plans and all these things that you want to do, but realize, this is what I feel for my own self, is that when you're creating something right now, it's already saturated in your field. Whatever it is that you're seeking and desiring, and really finding that joy and that happiness and all those good things, or whatever you're creating, any manifestation, whenever you start kind of diving into that space, it's already there. You're already in the space, but there's maybe a few things that you need to do to actually like jump into that beautiful space, or the portals or the vortices. It's already there. It's already there, people. Some people think, well, it's not happening for me. Yeah, because there's maybe something else that you need to know, something else that you need to consider. There's, finding better solutions for some things that you're working with, but you can't quite get it yet. So sometimes people need a little bit of time to just process, and processes is good. But if you just do one small act, so let's just say you're maybe working on a new business plan, you're working with a business plan, and you've already got it pretty organized, and and you've got it all real linear. You got a linear program that you've been working with, and so I used to do that. I used to do the linear stuff, and it would be like boom, 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 boom. But what I find when you're working with these energies where you want to have this beautiful experience, and kind of you're already knowing that you're already in the field, but there's a few things that aren't happening yet. So instead of going into a linear piece of connecting and relating to what it is that you're desiring in your field, I would suggest you going into mind mapping. And for people who haven't mind mapped, you can look on the the internet, or see what that's about. But I think that's a more organic way to create. Let's just say in the center of this, like a picture, there's like the center is going to be about my new plan, or my new opportunity, and whatever that is for you. And then from there you kind of expand out, because when you're going linear, you kind of get kind of triggered because, oh, I should have thought about something else. I should have added something different. When you do mind mapping, it's kind of like this great big window of, oh yes, oh yes. The more that you go into each one of the different attributes, like, what do I need to know? What is the best thing for me? And what kind of, what would I call my business? Or what would I do with some of the beautiful miracles? I know that I can do that too. You can start working with, ideally, with some of these beautiful bands of energy through mind mapping. Some people, like, again, are linear and logical, and that's great too. But I think for a person like me, maybe you and the cat down the street, we may have the similarities working with these mind mapping pieces, because it's organic. When you start, like, having, like, this is my plan, and then you can expand out, and you can start noticing, well, what do I do now? Well, the first thing you might do is start noticing the people that are in your field. Maybe if it's a business that you're in. I was a real estate broker for a long time, and so this might be an example. When I was a real estate broker, I'm not doing it anymore here in Scottsdale, but you could just start looking at all of your friends. So maybe you have family friends, maybe you have network friends. I did a lot of networking back in Texas. You could start looking at people at church, or different business places that you go to. You might look at just connecting with just anybody. I was always grabbing business cards and having connections with people. And you may start opening, even with that, you might even go in, and maybe I could start a different community group talking about the business plan. But you start continually growing and expanding, and then you start learning that the mind mapping is actually better than linear and logical, because it's so organic. You can have like a big poster board and start, creating that. I remember when I was in a real estate office and helping new agents figure out how they do their SOI, the sphere of influence. And that sphere of influence is so important. People think I don't even know anybody. I don't think anybody knows me. Nobody knows me. But then you start realizing the people that you do know and that you've had experiences with. It could even be the person at the dry cleaner or somebody at the grocery stores, whatever that is. You start connecting, you start, getting those dots, connecting all those dots. And the more that you have the SOI, or the sphere of influence, it's all pretty groovy. So this is a great opportunity to go into that mind mapping, and then you might go into some visuals as well, to support you with what you really desire, what's in your field. The more that you look into it, feel into it, breathe into it, see the imagery, think about it, consider all of the different options. There's so many options. So all of these energies that we're working with right now are powerful and wonderful, and they're supporting all of us. So you could say there's a vortex. The vortex is there, vortex is here. We've got a few little other spaces that are moving. All this energy is moving, moving, moving. The more that you continue to keep moving, keep going with that mind map. Try that out and see if it feels right for you. And then if you want to do some vision, you can get a poster board and you can kind of visualize what it is that you want. It's super fun. We'll see you soon, and namaste.